There's really no limit to what you can do when you start with a butterfly or a bird.
People who do enjoy the outdoors need to realize that they have to help protect it in order to have it there for everyone else to enjoy too.
There are a lot of white oak trees in here.
At Project Wild, we believe that the conservation of these natural resources begins with our most precious resource, our children. From classroom studies of wildlife to outdoor exploration, Project Wild activities focus on teaching children to appreciate their natural surroundings and to become responsible decision makers and stewards of the environment.
Project Wild is a program to get kids excited about wildlife, about conservation, and about the environment in general.
At Project Wild, we call this awareness to action. Developed and continually reviewed by educators and natural resource experts, Project Wild is a hands-on supplementary conservation and environmental education program.
With Project Wild and all the materials that the Council for Environmental Education supports, that we really don't try to tell kids what they're supposed to think about this subject or that, but rather how do they go about thinking about it, how to think, a critical analysis kind of set of skills.
Project Wild is not only for classroom teachers, it's also used with youth groups, after-school programs, and homeschools. It's also an integral part of non-formal sites such as zoos, museums, nature centers, and public gardens.
We want them to be investigative learners. Project Wild, you know, it tells them, it gives you a small synopsis, and from that they can create, they can imagine, and they can extend on what we've given them.
The best part about Project Wild is that there is no limit to what the teacher can do in the classroom with that, and it's very user-friendly. The teacher that doesn't feel comfortable with science concepts can pick up a Project Wild book and do any number of things. There's a lot of opportunity for interdisciplinary approaches, and it's based on not only scientific principles, but what makes learning fun and work for kids.
The award-winning Project Wild program is in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, as well as internationally.
Conservation education has been an aim for a long time of the state Fish and Wildlife agencies. Fish and wildlife all need habitat in order to survive. Agencies want to get young people to understand that, not just academically, but actually by seeing it in the outdoors. And if they do that, then they can understand things they can do to further the conservation of wildlife.
Birds cannot live in one area all the time. Their habitat has to change.
In 2006, Project Wild celebrated its 25th anniversary by having reached more than 1 million educators, resulting in over 48 million children learning about the environment. Each year, Project Wild continues to reach nearly 50,000 educators and nearly 1.5 million students. What's the secret of Project Wild's long-standing success?
We have dedicated coordinators in all the states who really put substance and feeling behind Project Wild and make it work. They make it fly in their individual state.
These interactive workshops empower teachers with creative new ideas that they can easily incorporate into their classrooms. Project Wild activities satisfy state curriculum standards, but more importantly, they make teaching and learning fun.
With the recent Early Childhood Guide, Project Wild now has even more to offer: daycare sites, preschools, and Head Start centers.
With the new Early Childhood Guide, Growing Up Wild, Project Wild will be working to reach the hundreds of thousands of early learners who may not have opportunities to explore and connect with nature.
¿Cómo es la raíz? ¿Es chiquita o es muy grande? Exacto.
Project Wild meets the needs of Hispanic students with Spanish versions of the K-12 guides. In addition to the traditional activity guides, Project Wild offers an aquatic program that focuses on educating children of all ages about aquatic life and the environment. Our science and civics program geared for high school educators and students, utilizes the environment as a means to apply science, social studies, and other disciplines to real-world situations. And Project Wild includes additional material for early childhood education and specific wildlife-related topics, including elk and taking action. Project Wild offers supplemental activities that appeal to all types of teaching and learning styles, from role-playing to poetry to math and science. Lessons cover the entire educational spectrum.
An example of a math project is to figure out, after students have eaten their lunch, how much trash they accumulated by figuring out the cubic feet. And then you multiply it. Well, what if you do this every day? Well, what if you do this every week? Okay, how many cubic feet is in our school?
I would like to see our children walk away from this program with an appreciation of the out of doors, with an integrity and understanding of natural resources and its interconnectivity, and if nothing else, the ability to enjoy a wildflower, to enjoy bird watching, to enjoy any of the forms of recreation that are associated with it, and to know that all that is ultimately tied to their future quality of life.
On the surface, Project Wild can be described as a series of wildlife-related education activities for pre-K through 12. However, if we look below the surface, we can find much more. In many ways, Project Wild is about strengthening and building connections. Perhaps the most valuable connection is the connection between children, nature, wildlife, and the outdoors. Project Wild activities can lead to healthier kids who are more fully engaged in the learning process.
If you're only going to pick one thing to do, something that has been tried and true, has been well tested, gives them activities for indoors and outdoors, reaches all of the disciplines within your school, this is the one to do.
For more information on Project Wild, including how to get involved in your area, please visit www.projectwild.org.